We're over 65. And just in terms of the rest of the world's incredibly deep, so I don't honestly know just how many characters.
Looks like I'm plagued with a lot of adverts. Now, I'm hoping that this is actually streaming this time.
Damn, bro, you had 14 people in there.
At one time, yeah.
At one time.
Oh, it's gonna be down to 7.
So I'm hoping that there's some volume here.
Oh, it's gonna be down to 7.
Ah, we have now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
We're all working. Nice.
So this is the second month we started a podcast and we've had sound issues. So I'm going to introduce myself again as Kemet 1976. You can catch me on the usual channels: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, blah blah blah. Let's go, Lazy Mapper.
Hi, I'm the Lazy Mapper. I have the channel on YouTube called the Lazy Mapper. I'm on Xbox as I'm going to get you sucker, and on PC as the Lazy Mapper. And we'll just carry it on to Captain Hindsight. If you want to go up next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Captain Hindsight. I'm on the Xbox One as Captain Hindsight. Discord, YouTube is diefex, and Twitch. Weapon?
Death Weapon.
Yep.
You're up next.
I am Death Weapon XX, and I'm on Xbox. It's me.
There we go.
Let me just add something to that. The legendary Death Weapon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know who
The
that is.
legendary sculptor.
Yeah, it's too.
I make trash sculptures. It's
If
great.
you ask him, he'll sculpt your mother and your grandma.
So.
Please send pics.
Naked.
Yeah. So this month, obviously the patch, the new patch or the new update came out, and it left everybody in a complete uproar. So what have we got on today's menu for discussion topics? Because I haven't got my list up here with me. I should have. But I don't.
I think we should just dive right into that update. I mean, that's what I'm feeling
You
right
reckon?
now.
Yeah. So we just dive straight into the update. Right. Okay then. So what happened was when did the new update come out? Because I've forgotten the day that.
24th, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's right. It was the 20. Was it the 24th that the new update came out?
Let's go ahead and call it the 24th.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm just thinking. Captain Hindsight seems to be.
That was D-Day.
In spot. Ah, right. There we go.
Whoa, that was weird.
That was trippy. That. Yeah, I just
All
seen
you
it
guys
just
froze
like
for me.
froze like
That was a
this.
glitch in the Matrix, man.
Was that everybody? Or was
You
that
okay,
just me?
Keanu Reeves?
Oh, that was you.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Okay, it was me.
So what we're gonna do? Remo's just reminded me that the topics, basically the map editor issues, lobby system updates, blah blah blah. So we're gonna go straight into the update. So the update came out on the 24th, I believe. It came out.
Now, keep in mind that Ubisoft announced this, I believe, late on the 23rd on what the patch notes actually were going to be.
Right.
So it wasn't a hey, this is what we're going to release. You know, what are your thoughts on it? It was, hey, this is what's going to happen. You're just going to like it.
Yeah. Lack of communication.
Yeah.
So really and truthfully, we have like a real issue here. So the patch notes came out, and one of the things that was in the patch notes was the that you couldn't select your maps on a public lobby anymore, and basically the forum blew up, or that thread blew up.
Yeah.
13
It
pages,
really blew up.
13 pages of
No, I think it's
complaints
16 pages. It's actually
it started out with 13 pages because then after that it was kind of corrected. I think Ubi Charlie, she, this female, So Ubi Charlie, she posted up an update on the patch about the patch after the complaints came in.
Well,
So
let's get back to that too. I want to discuss the fact that Ubi has a very poor relation with responses. The thing is immediately I would say, being that your job is a community manager, when you release something, you're going to sit by and you're going to see how the response is. You're then going to go back to the team and be like, okay, well, this is the problem. What's the fix? You know, and I feel like that it was too much time in between people being heartbroken on it and then the actual response getting back to, hey guys, we understand, you know, you have an issue with this patch. We're working on it currently. You know, something just to give the players and the editors something to really go off of and, you know, hold on to, like, hey, you know, we're going to be fixing this. It just, nothing was there.
Well, it was kind of crazy because my phone blew up. My Discord chat, it was crazy. I got messages on my Xbox. I got messages on PlayStation. My Messenger blew up. And it was kind of crazy the amount of messages that I got. Just through that. Oh, have you heard? You know, they've took out. You know, you can't pick your maps in the public lobby anymore. Blah blah blah. And that's what caused me to look at the update in the first place, because I hadn't heard, I'd not seen it. So when I did see it, I was like, wow, really? And it was almost like I had this strange feeling, like somebody like a vampire just reached into my chest and just ripped my heart out. Do you know what I mean? And just dumped it on the floor, stood on it, and just crushed it. Do you know what I mean? In between the concrete, it was just one of those.
I think
moments.
everybody that I miss.
Do you know what I mean? But the thing was though, what I did notice was that the patch updates came out, the complaints came out, and I think there was a message in there, even by Ubi Charlie, to say that there was there was something wrong with the notes itself, and that it would be updated.
No, that wasn't from Ubi Charlie.
That was Frosty. That was Ubi Frosty.
All right, okay then. Yeah,
and it was contradictory.
I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
Well, see, here's the thing that happened with that is it was posted somewhere else, and I can't cite where it was posted.
Right.
But somebody was complaining about it, and then I believe it was Ubi Frost. I could be wrong on that, but it was the community manager.
Frosty.
Yeah, apparently it was supposed to be a typo or something like that, right?
Right. But then, can you imagine just a kick in the pants when we actually get the update that hit? I believe it. I can't remember the exact time on the 24th for Eastern time, but when it hit, you know, it was utterly disappointing on hearing that, oh, it's supposed to be a typo. That was never supposed to be released. And then to see that what Ubi Charlie said was actual truth, you know? So, you know, you get contradictory in Ubisoft itself, you know? It's like, who do you believe when something comes out, you know? Right. Another problem is that the community was never asked, what do you want? You know, what do you want to see in a patch? You know, it wasn't that they took feedback from the actual players and then implemented that into a patch. It was something that they saw to bring it upon themselves just to go ahead and fix what they thought was an issue, not what editors, not what you know, players would actually want fixed or worked on. I feel like the management is poor.
I have to say this, that they did like a survey. This was some years ago. They did this survey. And the majority of the people that were in this survey, I mean, we can talk about the survey because it was
right. I was in the survey.
It was a few years ago. Now we all talked about this now, and we've said this in most of the podcasts, that what we want, what we really want, is a Far Cry 2 lobby system, but made improvements because it stands as the best lobby system right now. Do you know what I mean? None can beat it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I feel like it was the best that we were handed at the time. Is it perfect? Yeah. Absolutely not. But I feel like it can be improved upon. Right. And I think that goes back to, you know, Ubisoft really not doing their due diligence and really playing their past games, knowing their history, knowing, you know, where Far Cry came from and where it should go in direction. And it's just, you know, the research and development is very poor.
I feel like there's all these new developers though, and they're just like, "Oh, we don't want to do something old. We want to do it our way." And
Exactly
do
right.
New.
People are trying to put their own mark
But
on
they're
something,
bringing
and that's
it,
what they're
yeah.
doing with Arcade Hero. You know, he's trying to push it.
See,
Yeah.
the thing is, if they want this game to last, do you know what I mean, a long time. I mean, the other Far Cry's, they have lasted a long time, but the player drop, I've never seen the player drop off as large as what Far Cry 5 had. The player
Dude, it was
drop
so
off
bad.
it was so bad. Do you know what I mean?
Well, within a month, it went from 100,000 down to 10,000 players. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
probably like
Right.
5,000.
that's a lot.
Yeah, probably.
And-
Yeah.
And what
Maybe-
that was
I think it's less than that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and that
Probably
Well, I'm sure
four.
it's less than that now, but that's just the last time I had checked.
and
on,
that was because of the poor excuse me, that was because of the poor multiplayer. Not just because of the lobby system, but just the multiplayer itself. You know, just having two modes, people are getting bored real quick. You know, just having the two modes in the multiplayer, it's boring. It really is.
It is.
Well, even more so, I can deal with the modes, and you know, it's more of like, I feel they didn't polish the multiplayer before it was released. You know, you look at Xbox having the problem with the player names. You know, that was a huge issue. You know, it was basically, it made any map unplayable, which then gave poor ratings towards maps, and poor ratings towards maps keeps the good maps from shining through, just because of something that was wrong on Ubisoft's end, not the editor and not the player. You know, so it just, you know, it needed more polish before release, I believe, or at least a beta testing, which was never done.
Well,
They
the thing
need to
is
start
that
doing beta testing.
the thing is that we got to test the PC side, and that had way less bugs. When they put it onto the console, the editor had problems, the team deathmatch had problems, you know, and that really messes up your momentum. When you want to get excited for a game, you start playing it, you're into it, and then you get all these problems.
Right.
And then you just want to walk away. I don't understand. Like, you know, they really should smooth out this stuff. I think it was half baked, you know. They needed another couple months. So,
and see, this is the thing. Sorry, let me cut. Mike G Live has just joined us. So
yes.
yeah. What's up, Mike? You good? And I think my mic. He said my mic was kind of low, so I think I've just fixed that. That's great. So
Mike,
so the thing is with that. They had the patch, so they put the patch out. There was some sort of, I think they tried to do some sort of damage control before the patch was actually, you know, released into the wild. Who have we got? Johnny2 Fingerz has kindly joined us.
Oh, nice.
Welcome back,
late
John.
to the show.
It's just moved everybody out the way. That's midstream. We could see a chin. That's absolutely great. So we had the patch updates, but then we had like 13 or so pages of complaints, and then what was said after that was the statement that Ubi Charlie put in there. Let me see if I can find that right now.
I've got it brought up right now.
Oh, have you got that? Oh, do you want to read through that?
Sure,
I'll
read through it real quick.
Right, quick.
So the response was, and it is a response, so that's great.
Right.
Hello, map builders. Thank you for all your feedback following the Title Update 6 patch notes. As you know, our previous Title Update brought the eagerly awaited rework of the private lobbies, giving the host the possibility to choose the maps to be played. Another comment that came back frequently was the impression of playing a lot of lower quality maps in public lobbies, and that the map selection workflow was complicated. For these reasons, we dedicated the rework the public lobbies. When entering a public lobby, TU6 changes guarantee you to play a quality map with a straightforward experience. Note that Arcade Hero is still up there to help you to discover the rate new maps. This change is first step forward, another feature our team is working on, and with that it says a lobby browser system for Arcade. However, We, however, understand that the new public lobby system is coming as a surprise for many players, which is why we are looking into solutions to reintroduce a map selection phase in public lobbies. We will keep you updated as soon as we have more information on the feature and the timeline. Stay reassured that our
You can't read.
Our objective is to offer you the best arcade experience. Sorry, it was hard to swallow on that one. The Far Cry arcade team.
Right.
So, it's great to hear that we are doing the lobbies, but you can clearly see that what they have done currently is absolutely intentional. There was nothing accidental about this update. You know, this was what they were forcing upon us. And I've talked to people, and a lot of it is backlash. A lot of people believe that it's backlash for what people were saying about the lobbies and complaining. They were like, well, hey, you know, you're complaining about the lobbies. We're going to give you a piece of shit. How about that? You know, this is what you could be playing. So be happy.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Yeah, with Ubisoft. Ubisoft, right now, I can't say Ubisoft, but the Far Cry team, because they seem to be communicating with other games, and I suppose it's a different team that's actually involved in all of those, you know, Ubisoft games.
There's too many teams involved. That's the problem. You've got three different companies working as one.
But what I'm actually saying is that, like, say for instance, you've got Rainbow Six Siege. They seem to be communicating greatly with their community. Do you know what I mean? You've got Ghost Recon Wildlands. They're communicating with their community. So why is it that the Far Cry, you know, the Far Cry community, are still feeling completely separate, and we don't feel like a family anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, type of thing. You know what I mean? Like Ubisoft, they're just putting the patch notes up on the Ubisoft forums and letting everyone run wild with it without any kind of explanation. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that anything new? Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes.
Am I coming through at all?
Hello, Johnny.
How are you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing all right.
Radio boy.
It's not really anything new from them, honestly. It's been like this is the third game in a row that they've just, as far as Far Cry goes, that they've just kind of had the same sort of. I mean, they've been better about it this time, but that's not saying much.
The one thing that I'm really disappointed at is this. It's almost like they played the 48 powers, the 48 laws of power on us. Do you know what I mean?
That's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing.
So basically, what they did was before the launch, especially a year before the launch, they had groups of us. I mean, there's some things that we can talk about and some things that we can't talk about because of the NDA. So they had groups of us, you know, testing out the build. Now, when we tested it out, when we went to Montreal, it was fine. There was just a few bits and pieces that needed just sort of like polishing. So I didn't understand that when it came out, it actually came out broken. Do you know what I mean?
It came out worse.
That was crazy. I never understood that. But what I'm trying to get at is this. They had all of that time, and the thing was, they were communicating with us perfectly fine. We had Matthias, you know, in and out of the Facebook groups, you know, messaging us, you know, trying to get us involved, you know, especially with the map jams and stuff like that. Now, the one thing that I never understood, was once the game came out, and, you know, people got codes for the games and so forth, we got our free games, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's called we got our money and you're on your own.
Yeah.
So in that sense, like, what are we supposed to think? Do you know what I mean?
They're like a $300 and something million or something like that off of Far Cry 5, some ridiculous number like that.
Yeah, I didn't check.
I heard they had really good sales over in UK. I think they made most of their sales over there.
Well, see, they did. Here's the problem. Like, they focused on, as they always do, on the single player experience. You know, hey, here we go. Here's an amazing single player experience, and it was. I mean, it's not without flaws, but you know, it was a fantastic campaign playing through. However you feel about it, but then when you go to the Bastard Child, which is the editor part of the side of it, we're treated like stepchildren. It's kind of like, oh yeah, well, you're a part of the community, but we really don't care what you think. Here's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
We try to communicate with them like, hey, this is what we actually want. We want to evolve this. This is what the community wants. But it falls on deaf ears. It really does. And I mean, look how many community managers they have actually gone through. I mean, alone with Far Cry 5. But you look in the past, it's unsurmountable amount of people that they go through on trying to manage anything. And it's like, I feel for them. I do. Because there's obviously things that they can't tell us because the developers won't allow them to. But at the same time, we get hardly any communication. And I want to know where that bridge gap is so that we can fix that.
So because of that communication, I want to sort of share my experience. Now, a lot of what's been going on hasn't affected me like directly as a map builder because I'm still building my first map where I know a lot of people have got like maps out there, but they can spend the hours on it. I mean, that I do have like other activities besides playing Far Cry or playing any other game. And I work for a living as well too. Do you know what I mean? So I can only spend so many hours, building a map. So it's going to take me months. So a lot of the problems that people are running into, I'm not exactly running into them yet. Apart from when I'm playing players' maps on during the multiplayer and stuff. So some of that isn't really affecting me to that point. But again, like I said, the communication between Ubisoft and its community, is really crazy. Now, one of the things that I want to get into, is that not just the player drop-off, but a lot of my friends, have just turned around and said, look, I'm done with Far Cry. And we even had one incident. Now, I'm not sure whether he would approve of this or not, but, a friend of ours deleted his whole channel. I'm not going to mention his name, but he deleted his whole channel because of it, and like 300 and odd videos. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, wow, it's a hell of a time commitment to focus on something that I think the reason we're all here is because we kind of are deeply rooted in our passion for something that existed at one point. And I think right now we're just kind of, it's like necromancy at this point, trying to summon something and prop it up as if it's still alive. But what we have is this sort of chimera of something else that we just keep, trying to fan it and keep it going. And it's really just starts to feel futile. So I don't blame the guy for deleting all of his shit. And honestly, like, I haven't even touched the map editor, and I don't know. It feels like it's been like a month because I'm busy too. I don't want to spend all this time in trying to be creative on this thing. I mean, I really do enjoy it. That's why I'm even coming into this podcast at this point. Because I still care about it. It's just it feels really one-sided, and I keep shouting back to that same concept that this is a relationship, and it's not a good one.
I mean, I do have to mention toxicity. There's one thing that you mentioned, Johnny2 Fingerz, and this was a couple of podcasts back. We're talking about our sense of maturity, and some of the things that I've been reading in the especially in the wake of this update, and even before that, some people are just saying some nasty things towards Ubisoft. And the thing is, there's no you can say things, but it has to be sort of like constructive. Do you know what I mean? And you can have your opinion, but the thing is, though, like, being outright nasty.
Here's the thing with that. I can understand. All right, so if you're on the other end of it, where you've tried publishing maps, you've tried, doing things, you tried playing with your friends, and you can't, the single frustration there is just unsurmountable. And it's, I can understand the people that are lashing out, without truly being like, oh, you suck, Ubisoft, I hate you and all this stuff. But you can understand that some people, this is their outlet, and at the end of the day, it is a game. But at the same time, it's, you pour your heart and the soul into everything. If you're an artist, you put your all into something. And if you have it just smacked away, it's nothing and disregard it, then that doesn't me personally.
I did have a little bit of a lash out towards Ubisoft, and I don't plan on buying anything Ubisoft that has the Ubisoft label on it. I'm done, and that's not because I'm just mad at Far Cry 5 and they messed it up, whatever. It's a continuing pattern, and I think that the buildup of resentment is where all this nastiness is coming from. If this was just the one time and we're all mad about the one game, like, sure, okay, maybe I'm being a little much by having being so upset about it. But this is just, this is the third one in a row. How many years has it been? At this point, it's like totally my fault for assuming that it's going to be anything other than what it's been.
We were all excited about it. When I first got my eyes on the editor, I literally thought they were doing really well. The editor's
great.
The editor is just
editor's the best. It's the best editor.
They need to just snap the editor off like a damn Kit Kat bar. And make it its own thing, and just say this is an editor multiplayer platform, and just cut the name Far Cry off of it if you want to call it something else, but fucking put some energy and time into it and focus on that, because you're gonna have lots of us interested in that. You can call it whatever the hell you want. Just if it's not Far Cry anymore, that editor is something you could build an empire around. Basically, I don't mean to be like using hyperbole, but this could really change a lot of things if they focused on that. I don't think they're understanding that.
Yeah,
we're all here because we see the potential in it.
Yeah.
I think there's again as well too, something that Lazy mentioned to me at some point. I think we had a chat over Messenger or something like that, a quick chat, and it was really about a skeleton team. I think it was Lazy, or it might have even been Fallen Champ. Actually it wasn't you, Lazy. It was actually Fallen Champ. I had a message with him. I think there's only a skeleton crew that's actually dealing with the new updates now.
No, what's left? Yeah, it's left.
Yeah, what's left. So that in itself, the fact that there's only so many people that you could probably count on one or two hands that are actually dealing with this, it goes to show that do you know what I mean? That it's going to be a slow process to get this game where it needs to be.
What they really should do is they need to I know they're busy, I understand that, but what they've got to do is they've got to get a face in there, someone that's really closely tied to the project, and literally join our groups and say, hey guys, here's the progress. I'm glad you guys are interested. We're working hard on it. Just drop a line once in a while, because dropping those patch notes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know.
Hours.
Like a day before the actual update.
If you want to start a flame war, that's how you do it. That's attacking Pearl Harbor. You know what I mean?
You think they would announced that like a couple days before, but no, they did it literally the day before the patch.
And some of us were treating that like Pearl Harbor.
You've got a community manager. What is your job exactly?
The whole thing
relay what the community wants to the developers. You then take what the developers say and relay it to the community. That is your job. You're a community manager.
Here's the thing. Steve Botter has actually mentioned that, why don't you give us the notes prior to the patch? And I don't know, Steve Botter, he could probably write something in the chat about it. I also sent him a message to elaborate on what this browser lobby's about, and I had 0 answers. So that is a problem. That is a problem.
The thing is, it's like you be Jolly Charlie, sorry to call you out, but you are the community manager. You have people asking questions, direct questions. Even if you say, oh, well, I'm sorry, but, I can't comment on that at the moment. That is a response. That's what the community is asking for. We'll take a lot of shit that you throw at us, as long as you explain as to why you're doing it.
Sure.
Or what you're doing, or what you're working towards, It's not that hard to have communication with people.
Right.
And I've been running into this a lot in my personal life. So just having this come up in my sort of relaxation time with a game that I really like, the sort of lack of communication and surprise bullshit coming my way. Look, I think most people can handle just about anything as long as you say, hey, heads up, this is what's coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely.
We're gonna fix things. But to just have it just coming out of nowhere, yeah, I mean, I've had enough of that, even just like with my move and everything. I just moved into a new place and there's been no communication with any of the people I'm involved with, and it's been really frustrating. So it's just, there seems to be a thread, like a theme throughout interactions lately, and it's been, I mean, I'd rather you tell me the shitstorm's coming, please, so I can at least know what to expect.
So you can get ready.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I know everybody's like really sort of like, I mean, the room temperature is quite high on this thing for sure.
Pretty salty.
So what I want to do at the moment, I want to sort of take a break away from that, and I want to talk about some of the people that I've been involved with in making maps. So I've put out some videos, especially on PlayStation 4. So I'm gonna give a shout out to True Survival. He built a great map. I think it was called Terra 6. A brilliant map. It was really nice. It was kind of like a Red Faction type of map that was on the PlayStation 4. Team Deathmatch, I think it is. There was True Survival. Jimmy Bob, 360. He did a single player map. On the PlayStation 4, that was a really nice map, and I'm just trying to think of the who else it was as well too that had made a map. Just giving shout outs to these guys because they've worked really hard on their maps, and I want to mention Gang Related as well too. He's been putting out some nice stuff, but I've not put no videos out. So he gets a shout out. Who else was there? It was Nasty Nate on the PlayStation 4 as well. He's been putting out some really good maps. I'd like to give a shout out to Longshot as well, and I'd like to give a shout out to let me see. I'm just trying to think now. I should have had all of this sorted out because at the moment people are creating some really good stuff. On consoles. I haven't reached a PC yet, and it's kind of a shame that all of this lot is coming up and people are still building great maps. But the reason why I mentioned these guys is because they work so hard on the maps. And it's literally hard to get your maps featured. I know that My G Live, he put out a map. He got his featured as well too. I think. I'm sure he got a map featured. I can't remember which one it is.
It was Ship versus Sub.
Is it Ship versus Sub? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what it's like to get the maps featured at the moment. I know you've been more involved in that Death Weapon. So what's the score with that? Sort of like getting your maps featured.
Well, Ubisoft has something in place that's not a guarantee, but you can go on their forum page and you can upload. You want to upload at least 5 pictures of your map, and if you can link a YouTube video to it, it's great to do that as well. So show what platform it is, and then they'll kind of sift through however they sift through, and then they'll choose from that. Or they have been watching a lot of the channels, and they will pick stuff from different channels to kind of feature from that. The only problem that I have with it is it seems that they don't actually take a look at whatever map that is on there, because there's been a couple that have been featured that weren't complete maps, and they've had to remove them due to some complaints. And then there's others that are off the wall that get picked, like Mike G Live. They just found his. I'm not sure how they found his, but
right.
He's had a couple of people feature his through their YouTube channel, but he never uploaded anything to the actual forums or anything like that. So,
right.
I mean, it will get noticed somehow, some way. Good maps.
Neither
will
did
get noticed.
Gang Related. He didn't do anything, man. Just
Basically, just playing your map up there.
You know, what really would be
that definitely to get like 6 or 12 people a full lobby, and then just like fucking play on the map, and then just vote it up.
If that's how they want to, if they want to do it like that, and just like looking at the channels and doing it like that, why don't they do something really like the obvious thing is like send Kemet a paycheck and say, hey, dude, feature some maps. Because he's doing it anyway. I mean, he's going through the maps. He's playing them.
Why would they do that?
They actually need a good map maker picking the maps, like we've been saying.
That's what I mean, though. But they're not going to do the logical thing. It's not like they're broke. Like they can't afford to send him a few £100 or whatever.
Well, it would be even nice if they sponsored us and say, hey, check out these guys. They're You're mentioning us on
something.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they're never going to pay for something they get for free. You know, Far Cry 2, there was a small group of the community that just did it for free and picked the maps, sent it into Ubisoft, said, hey, here's the 10 map selection for featured maps this week. You know, and Ubisoft would be like, okay, we'll write off on it, we'll put it in the code, and here's featured maps. You know, that's what they would do. They would put stuff on gold, and it was just people in the community doing it. You know, they rely on us to do it, but yet, give us nothing in return.
Is that how Far Cry 3 was?
Their style. Oh yeah. Well, Far Cry 3, I can't say it was. It was dead before it launched.
Yeah, that was dead.
Oh well, yeah. That's why I only made one map, man. That was gone.
That was crazy, man. Seriously. So. See, this is the thing. It's coming up to. I mean, we're literally it's 2 months into this game, into the release of this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 2 months into this game, and I can't believe that we're 2 months into this game, and I'm not enjoying it to the fullest. I'm really not.
On the positive side of it too, you got to think I'm definitely perturbed by what has happened in the way that they have, conducted themselves. But there are promises, and don't get me wrong, I know promises are promises, but there is a promise of, hey, they've already given more support than they ever have. Whether it be something that we're not asking for. They have put something into it. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel at the end of the day. It's kind of like, hey, we might have to really grind it in there. This is what we want. This is what we want. Stay on the forums, stay on the podcast, talking about things, keep it going.
Yeah. It's unfortunately, I feel bad for the guys that, the people who are working on it right now that have inherited this, because they're inheriting a legacy of disappointment, and now they're dealing with all the backlash and expectations from all of that. So I mean it is. I wouldn't want to be them.
It's a heavy burden to carry.
Probably really under pressure.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of mistrust. But this is the thing. They could fix that just by communicating. That's all we're asking for.
That's
all
it.
We've been asking for. There's nothing else. Do you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be so sort of mistrusting if they didn't, if they, if they communicated more with us, the community.
Well, that's the problem. Is they're the Wizard of Oz. They're hiding behind their shroud. They don't want to come out from behind there and show who they really are. It's just like, community manager, go do your job. Release one update per week. Tell them what we're gonna do.
And this is the thing.
Don't tell them too much. Give them a little crumb.
This is the thing with the updates as well too. This is the thing with the updates. I'm not being funny, but Ubisoft are doing it wrong. You can't just release an update on your forums and expect everybody to know about it. Put some videos out. Do you know what I mean? You've got a channel. Ubisoft.
Where's this infamous? Oh, play with Ubisoft on Friday nights.
Right. I was just about to mention
what is that?
I was just about to mention that. They have what's
the Far Cry streams that they do.
Far Cry streams on. I don't watch them. I'm not interested in them.
I work, so I don't.
I jumped in out of curiosity. It's just a couple of devs playing the game. I mean, that's really right. They'll play custom maps and stuff, but It's just they're not even really talking about anything other than just like, oh, look at this map.
Right.
It's like they're doing the same thing, you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Playing maps and
But they're getting
showcasing them.
And that's the thing. There's a lack of professionalism, but also as well too. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've heard some chat, especially when the update came out, that they were sort of more catering to a younger generation, but the game is rated.
Yeah, it's an M-rated game.
So it's an M-rated game. So it's an M-rated game.
Well, that's called desensitization. They love it.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that work out? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, it baffles me. It really confuses me. Do you know what I mean? It confuses me how they've got such they've got such a great editor, and they need to understand. Yeah, they need to watch out because Halo Forge is on their tail. And
I can tell you as a forger myself, like
Right.
I jumped on Halo, and this past Halo was absolutely phenomenal. Like
Once they add terrain manipulation and like smaller custom
it's all
And
over.
they listen to the community.
Let me put it to you this way, without saying anything. Tom French is who develops for 343 Studios for Halo, and Tom French actually played Far Cry and like tried out the assets, the system, everything else. He was like, "Oh wow, this is cool.
This is cool. Let's do this."
Into something like that, So I feel that it's well on its way, and like Far Cry and Halo were kind of, Far Cry was above for me, and then Halo brought it up with scripting and with manipulation assets. It was like, what some people have said is it looked kind of plasticky and stuff. But looking at all of the textures that we've had in Far Cry, and then you look at the, manipulation that you get, I think Halo is going to be going up there, and Far Cry's got to step up their game if they want to stay.
I'll tell you one thing, that if Far Cry doesn't step up their game, Halo, you can have how many people forging on one map?
You can have multiple.
At least multiple, at the same time.
About 4
you can
people.
definitely have 2, and I think it was up to like 8 actually running around your forge.
Like live, like building with you.
Building with you.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
just imagine how we could crank out maps, like insane maps that way. Just
it's even worse than that.
Right.
I mean, I tried to get in with the Far Cry community and be like, hey, mention this to the devs, because I mean, Halo, you could even save groups of objects as assets and load it up to the server. Where it's like if you want like your forge map, your forge map, you could have taken everything, that whole pour, the melting pot or the forge, and save that in the group and save it as that object, and then spawn it to whatever map you wanted it.
Wow.
So you save it like an asset.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing, dude.
Right.
So this
is the thing now. Yeah, it's going to see. The thing is, I've tried to get into Forge, me personally, and I found
it's a lot to
difficult.
take in.
Yeah, I found it very difficult to get into, especially after
the scripting.
But here's the thing. You can jump in, like what he was saying. You could jump in with a friend, and me personally, as a seasoned forger, I could go in and I could show you exactly how to do something live.
Right.
Yeah,
The
scripting is takes some learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still don't understand scripting. A squid load is like
even if they gave us, even if they just gave us more assets to play with and an easier manipulation of them, and just gave us the ability to raise and change the terrain and put textures on the ground, even just that, setting the scripting aside, that's a huge advantage.
And I tell you what, I mean, obviously, there's going to be. I mean, I think the next Halo. Far Cry is going to lose.
I promise you, it's going to blow you away.
Yeah,
without giving away anything, I promise you, it's going to blow you away.
The community is going to go, oh well, Far Cry, you've had your chance. You blew
have you guys?
See ya.
Have you guys played El Dorito? Have you played El Dorito?
No, I've not played it. No.
I mean, I'm not saying I have it, but yeah. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You should look into it at least, if nothing else. It's basically just Halo Online, with Forge. It's basically like what Halo 3.
It was Halo 3. Yeah, it was Halo 3.
With just a ton of extra options. It's so much fun.
Right.
I just got sucked into that so quickly, and I was getting totally hosed, like owned, because I haven't played Halo in forever. But I was still having.
But you know what
way
the sad
more
thing
fun
about
playing
that?
Yeah.
All of that was community fan base. You know, there's no company involved in that. That's all, you know, community fan base going into it. Can you imagine
so
if
much
company
fun.
pumped money into that and actually made an editor-based multiplayer game?
From what I think what I think happened with that was that I think they were officially going to release that as its own thing. There's Halo Online, but they scrapped it. But someone basically got the EXE and modded it and just released it, and now it's still going strong.
It was like a Russian-based game at first, and then
something I don't know.
And then Microsoft kind of put up red flags, but what was it? 343 was like, no, you know, we're cool with it, you know, do whatever you want to do, but Microsoft kind of vetoed everything.
I mean, all I can say about that is just, you know, after the podcast, just shoot me a message if you want to talk about it. You know what I mean? You feel me?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to bring this up. So when you're playing maps, like online or like multiplayer, I think it would be nice to have the skip the map feature back. It'd be really nice.
Oh yeah, and what people are talking about is
especially when you're playing on like crap maps, you don't want to like sit there.
Oh, do you remember
10 minutes? You know.
Oh,
yeah,
now
I mentioned this.
15 minutes. Yeah.
In Far Cry 2,
Yeah,
remember in Far Cry 2 when it was like there's like a timer thing that would come up and you'd have a vote, right? Everybody would vote. Do you want to extend the match or do you want to end it? And you can say yes or no. And if it was a terrible map, it would end. You wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to see it through to the bitter end.
Yep.
Come on.
I mean, that would be perfect. Let's not vote on a map. Let's vote that the map is terrible. You know, let's come together as a community to skip this map or to play it, extend the time. We had extended time as well. If somebody's having
extending the time,
they can extend the time on.
Oh,
hey
yeah,
guys,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's been so long.
So I one of the problems that I ran into today was when I started my map, I started it as a single player. I didn't start it as a multiplayer. And what happened to me today, I was completely crushed because I wanted to change it to a multiplayer. Now, in one of my areas, now on single player, it's absolutely fine. I don't have no red blocks on my map or anything like that. So I changed it from an assault to a single player. So you know the map that I'm working on with the spider tank, yeah? So I turned that into I tried to turn that into a multiplayer team deathmatch, and I got this one big red area.
You have a different budget. You have a different budget in single player than you do in multiplayer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have a much larger budget in single player.
Yeah, it's more in single player. Yeah.
So that map now I cannot shift it to team deathmatch.
Wow. Well, here's the thing. Like, you got to look at it, their aspect of things as well. Like, okay, so if you're single player and you're playing through, you're drawing on one Xbox. You're drawing everything, you know, at once when you get to it. When you do single player, you've got multitudes of people drawing that area, so you can't have as big of a budget because it's not going to be able to draw or render properly.
That makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It does make sense, but it's kind of a shame because I wanted it to be a multiplayer. Do you know what I mean? Do you know, with the stuff I've built in it and whatnot. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But I do have another map that I'm working on that I can definitely say, right, okay, then what I'm going to do is see, that's the thing. Ubisoft doesn't say that though, do they? Like, where in their notes do they say that people know about that?
What does Ubisoft say about anything? The community has to find things out, and then we just kind of like, hey guys, guess what? This is what you can do, you know, and it's kind of like it's all a big secret.
Yeah, well, in a way, I wanted to do some videos and tutorials, but they're hard to do because they keep changing stuff, whatever you make or you talk about, and then somebody else will find a bug, and it's very complicated. It's almost like trying to figure out the Rubik's Cube or something. Some of this editor prompts. Last night, Captain Hindsight had a problem publishing his map. It said the file was too big. All these weird things.
The file was too large, and it was saying the terrain was too complex. So basically, what I had to do was go in
and flatten a rock.
Just like flatten some areas in the map where you couldn't see, just like really far in the back.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then
it's too beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I just?
It's like, not today.
Yeah. Can I just interrupt the chat? Right. So Mike G Live, in the chat, he says.
The favorite. That's right.
Yeah, they need to put or add
a favorite button.
Where the light is at the end of the match.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they do need that.
That makes sense.
How about we take out dislike completely and replace it with a favorite? Because why should you dislike a map? You can either like a map or not, So it'll either get stars or it won't. If you favorite the map, great.
Well, but why do all this stuff that makes sense though? Why would you do that?
yeah.
When you can just do the Ubisoft thing and
have no logic.
I think to me, Ubisoft like convoluted. Do you know what I mean?
You guys and your good ideas.
Do you know what I mean? They love well, it's the same thing as say for instance, something as small as this, it makes no sense. So I start up Far Cry, and it gives you the choice of whether you want to continue your game, whether you want to start a new game, whether you want to go into the arcade. So you go into the arcade, and then you have two choices, from the arcade, don't you? So you have
three now.
Is it no? It starts off with two choices whether to go into the the arcade, play arcade or.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So you go into there, right? So say for instance you want to go into the editor. You go into the editor. Now say you want to quit and then go into the arcade multiplayer. You actually have to go back to the main menu just to go back into arcade to go into the arcade multiplayer.
That's the Ubisoft experience, Kemet.
I don't understand why you'd have to go right back to the but right back.
That's
to
hokey
the
pokey,
Kemet.
Keep those play hours up, man.
You know what I mean?
The more time you spend dicking around in those menus, dude, that's those hours just.
Give me the
coin.
I will give them this. Yeah, they have simplified the menu.
I think they did.
It's a little bit more simplified than what it was before the update. It was a little bit. It was more.
Well, they simplified the multiplayer for you too, Kemet. Look, play what we want you to play.
Yeah, you can't play your own published maps in public.
Yeah, but. I mean, what were you going to do with those maps anyway, really?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's like this. It's like whoever made Arcade Heroes they're not using what I put in the UI. Let's make them play Arcade Hero. Take away their decisions. Yeah, here's Arcade Hero. That's how you're going to play new maps. You're welcome.
I don't know. Listen, I don't know when they're going to have this lobby browsing system that they mentioned on the forums, but I guess that what they're doing now is they're making the lobby that they have in place right this minute for the casual player. And hopefully, I know this is a wish, but hopefully they'll have like a Far Cry 2 lobby system that is coming out soon. But we've been talking about this for years.
Yeah,
and
I mean, we can browse lobbies, but what kind of lobbies are we browsing? I mean, are we going to be at the Dollar Tree browsing lobbies?
Do you want to hear something funny? Yeah, it was kind of funny because when the update came out, the heart sank and did whatever. I was really upset. So I was going to do a video. So after I loaded up the new update, I loaded up the update and I was fuming. So, all right, okay then. I want to do a video. And then I went into Far Cry 2. It was really funny because I went into Far Cry 2, started up the multiplayer, picked
now, is this to calm yourself back down?
15 maps I was picking. I'm like, 15 maps, boom, 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 15 maps, set it up, open lobby, boom. Do you know what I mean? That was crazy.
You probably had people hopping in too.
Like,
yeah.
That was absolutely, it was straightforward. Do you know what I mean? I could pick my maps, I could select my maps. 15 maps I could select. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Eventually, I thought, do you know what? I'm too tired for this. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to do a video. I'm not doing a video. I'm done. I just want to put some positive stuff on my channel. That's so I ended up just like, no, I can't do this. Do you know what I mean? But it was just so easy and so simple. Far Cry 2. Go in there, select 15 maps. You could put them in rotation. You could put them in order, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And then just boom, put it on, and people can come and find your lobby that you've selected. Do you know what I mean? It was so simple.
Well, hopefully they're working towards that. But I mean, you know, it's one of those things. Like, it would take nothing but them talking to one person in the community that ever played Far Cry. Okay, check this out. This is what we want. They can look at it and be like, well, we can't fuck it up any worse, so let's go ahead and give it a try. You know, at this point, you have to listen to the community. You know, we're all that's left. The casual player is gone.
So
bro, we're the backbone.
Yes, and then I'm gonna sort of like cut the conversation a little bit, and sort of move on to the DLC, because we do have we have a date for the DLC? Isn't it something like the 5th of
June?
June the 5th for the DLC.
Yeah.
And isn't that the it's supposed to be the
Vietnam
DLC?
Which the assets are already in the editor, and
some of the assets. I don't believe all of the assets are there, but I think some of the assets, and I think there will be some more on the way. I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that.
Supposedly AI.
They said we're gonna get the AI and the vehicles. They're just based. They're not done yet.
Right. Okay.
But, so we're gonna get all that.
So
they're still working on it.
Do you think?
Same with Far Cry 3. We still haven't got that.
Even though it's already in the coding, that's what I don't understand. It's already there. The only thing to do is just hit a button and be like, "Here, update." Here you go.
Do you think there's a possibility, that there may be a patch that sort of comes along with that as well?
Sure.
I think there.
Well, it could be that they're going to do the lobby system at the same time. I mean, that's just speculation, but it would make sense. If you're going to bring everybody back for DLC, you need to have the multiplayer fixed, hands down.
I mean, like I said, there's this talk of sort of DLC, and I've noticed that in the forums as well too. There's a lot of people are just wanting to boycott the DLC.
Well, I feel like that's just angry lashback at everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't boycott something that people have already paid for. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's kind of like there's a lot of us that just got the gold.
Anymore, you know.
Steve just
one of the things, like, if you want to boycott Ubisoft as a whole, or do whatever you want, but you know, at the same time, you got a game that you love, and there, I wouldn't say that there is promise, but there is hope that things are going to change, and you shouldn't get so rash about it. It's like, get mad, lash out, do whatever you're going to do, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to check it out. You know, the DLC hits, you got to see if they fixed something. If they didn't, then make your decision like, hey, I'm not going to play it anymore, you know? And just make that decision yourself.
Yeah. I think the choice that I'm making personally is that I've lost interest in the main campaign. I was playing it, I thought it was great, but I've got to the point where I've completed the game, and all I've got left here is to reset the outposts. So I'm resetting the outpost just to play certain things, just to get certain weapons. Do you know what I mean? Which is kind of good. So I've lost complete interest in the campaign now. Now that I've completed it.
Hey, you remember me? I never had interest in the first place.
I'm done with that thing. I tried to go into
a little bit.
I tried to go back into it today, but it was like, I've done everything. Like, what do I need?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then there's weapons and that. Like, my main thing is, now that I've finished the campaign, I'm moving on to the multiplayer. I'm moving on to building maps, you know, for the community. So what I've done is now, because I'm in a sort of like confused state. And I think that's indicative of everyone else as well too, because everyone is in that confused state because of the lack of communication between Ubisoft community managers for Far Cry and its community. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, right, okay then. So my way of dealing with it is now I've had enough of what's going on with Ubisoft and its Far Cry franchise. But what I will do is I will still represent the rest of the community. People who are still working hard to put their maps out there. It's people who are still having fun with the game at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's those people who are still sort of like holding on. But with me, I've lost complete interest, and I only come on and just sort of build my maps. Do you know what I mean? And just...
Well, here's the thing, too. Like, you know, I know you've lost interest, and a lot of people have. But let's just say if they fix the multiplayer experience, you know, we get back to doing Far Cry, you know, 2 lobby systems, you know, or something similar to, you know, an editor is good to go. You know, at the end of the day, it's about your creations and your creative outlet. You know, that's what this game is. You know, it's going out there and you're really getting together as a community. Even right now, we're bitching together. You know, and, you know, what it's about. It's about the community. And, you know, showing your buddy, hey, this is what I created. What do you think of this? And they're like, wow, that's really awesome. You know, you get that positive feedback. And that's all anybody's looking for in Far Cry in the first place is, you know, not really a give and take relationship, but hey, here's what I've done. I'd like to show this and share this with you. And then, you know, get reciprocation back. Yeah. And that's what we're not getting from Ubisoft. And that's what we need is we need reciprocation with that, you know, and we can't show our friends anything. We can't do anything. So it's negative at the moment, but with a positive outlook in the end.
Yeah, I really, really, really wish that the podcasts that we do have a positive reign. It's been the last 2 podcasts. I think it was the last one, and this one has not really been great. As far as I'm aware of, we've not really had great things.
Not completely positive, no. No,
so I can tell you one thing. Here's a positive. I've had a lot more free time on my hands to do other stuff.
No, you're right about that.
That's pretty positive, yeah.
Wow.
No.
I went out cut the grass. It was only 6 inches.
Yeah, my lawn is totally cut. Yeah.
Unfortunately, not me, man. I've been grinding out on these maps.
The dishes are done. I mean...
Oh my
God,
bro.
You dropped your dishes.
I'm able to change the oil in my car.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I've got a lot. I just, yeah. It really, I mean, I can complain about it and all that, and at this point, I'm kind of just exhausted from it. I mean, it's like, you know, it's when did Far Cry 3 come out? How long has it been?
2013 that came out.
So it's been like what, 5 years? Yeah, my math is right.
6 years, about 6 years.
6 years.
I think it's about 6 years, right?
Since Far Cry 3.
Yeah, since Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
Is it about 6 years?
I think Far Cry 2 was what,
7.
2008?
Almost 7.
2009.
Well, 2000. Yeah, I mean, Far Cry 3 was kind of the beginning of the end for as far as like the hopes of them doing something, and it's just been kind of at this point you can only be so disappointed so many times. We're just kind of gonna stop. I don't know.
There seems to be a trend, not just with Ubisoft, but there seems to be a trend, of right, okay, we need this game done by this, and this. We don't care if it's broken. People will still buy it. We'll patch it later.
They're not wrong.
Do you know what I mean?
Know it.
Well, in all fairness, every game, even like with, you know, I'll use Halo as an example. It came out and it was completely broke. You couldn't even play, you know, a lot of the user-created maps for like up to a month. But the difference is there was communication and said, hey, guys, we know something's wrong. We're trying to work on it. You know, here's something until we can fix this. We apologize for the inconvenience. And everybody stayed. Everybody stayed. They were okay.
Can you just imagine if they did that with like, if they did that with movies? Like you go to watch like one of the Avengers movies or something, and like the Hulk is not rendering properly. And you're just like, well, They're not done with it yet, I guess. We'll come back and watch it
It was
later.
so bad, dude.
Well, here's the thing that gets me. Let's say they patch it, they get it to work, they put some kind of lobby system in there that we all like, and then they come out with Far Cry 6. What are they going to do? Scrap it all? You know,
Yeah,
are they going to use all the stuff that worked?
See now, yeah, because
And where are all those players? There's going to be no players left too. By
All
the
right. Well,
time.
so, I think Captain Hindsight, you mentioned this in the chat, right? Okay. So when they release Far Cry 6, you're talking about that, and what's going to happen is we can sit here and go, oh, well, if they don't fix this time, I'm not going to get Far Cry 6. But you know when that hype train comes a rolling.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna want to get on it. You know what's gonna happen? You're gonna go. This Far Cry 6's map editor looks even better than the last one. You know what? I'm gonna have to get it early. I want to get a jump on the map that I'm gonna make.
Next minute, you hear a voice in the back of your head. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
we were
over and over and over again.
We were warned. We were warned in Far Cry 3, just subliminally. They said that they said it was coming. Just they snuck it in there.
Well, here's the problem with every Far Cry.
The bad news. Secretly.
I mean,
with each one is they hand it off to different areas. You know, it's like here you go, Montreal. Here's Far Cry.
There's no specialization.
Maybe we're
every single one.
No, maybe we're part of the joke because Far Cry. That's what we're doing. It's a Far Cry for a game.
For real.
Yeah, I think.
Like,
we love to hate it. We love the abuse. All of us. We're all masochists. I don't care what you say. We all love to be abused.
I like the emotional abuse. Yeah, I gotta admit. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we're all here after.
More Ubisoft.
I mean, look at John. He's like, I fucking hate Far Cry. I'm not even gonna do Far Cry, but let's go talk about it. It's like therapy for getting ready for the next part.
I mean, you're not
talk about your feelings, man. Talk about your emotions.
So Johnny, I know you've been working on a map, but what happened to that? Because I'm really looking forward to it.
You just keep looking forward to it. Look, it's not. I'm not. I don't want to. I really don't. As much as it would be really cool to finish that damn map. It's a lot. I still have a lot left to go. There's so many details in this map. It is built out of all these little pieces, and I don't want to do all that. And then get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm ready to upload this thing, and then I can't because of some error or whatever, and it just becomes this impossible task of figuring out why it won't upload. And then,
that's why you got all of us to tell you why it's
okay. Then there's the possibility. Okay, I upload it, and for whatever reason, every object that I have is sunken into the ground because people have had that issue too. Or
there's like doors.
Supposedly, displacement isn't fixed.
Yeah, there's like doors that don't. I don't know. So there's so many variables. I have so much going on in my life right now. I'm transitioning in where I live, and so many other aspects of my life and my career, and to put that energy into something as much as I'd love to. I really would love to come home after work and work on my map. But I just can't justify doing that to have it hit a brick wall.
Just because of the situation that
is in right now. Here's the thing. I think what you should do is give yourself till the update. You know, it's like take a break. Don't do anything Far Cry. You know, nothing else.
Right.
And then wait for this DLC to hit, and then somebody be like, "Hey, Johnny, you got to check it out. We've got lobby systems," and I think that'll kind of fuel you back in a way.
And you're right about that. And I anticipate that when the DLC does drop, and I'm more settled into my living situation, and you know the job situation settles, and everything's kind of leveled back out, I'll get back on my channel. I haven't done anything on my channel since that Ubisoft Honey We Need to Talk video that I put out.
Which is a fantastic video, by the way.
That was a great video.
I've actually seen people in the forums actually refer back to that video. Would you believe that? People who I just don't know.
We need you, Johnny.
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. It's just right now. I just
your 2 fingers.
I mean,
yeah, you're Johnny one finger right now.
I haven't heard that before. It's not like conducive
Johnny, baby,
to.
I need your 2 fingers.
Look, if there was a nice place to put those 2 fingers, I'd be there doing it. But right now,
well, you know what? Xbox has got the space for
right now. It's a big void, and there's no. I need some nice sugar walls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sugar walls.
Right now, it's just like it's a big empty void.
Dude, I was shot water out of my nose.
hey, Johnny, your ex is calling you back.
No, she's gonna have to wait. Sorry, but let me tell you what though. I think instead of anticipating it being an actual relationship with this ex, since we're continuing the metaphor, I'm going to come back and treat her how she actually deserves to be treated, and not how I would like to treat her.
Right.
She's not a lady; she's a hoe.
Drippy's in here. What's up, dude? Trash.
Anyway, yeah. I don't want to kick a dead horse there, but
yeah. So
I have high hopes, Johnny. We're gonna put a smile on that face. It's coming.
I mean, I can smile about it, but
we're gonna dress her up. We're gonna teach her new ways. We're gonna give her some church, and then we're gonna send her back to you.
She needs church. She needs Jesus. She needs Jesus for sure.
So, Lazy, yourself, because I know you haven't been on, and I know you've had some real life sort of like issues to sort of deal with and that. What about,
Lazy Matt Bat broke my toilet.
So
is that a metaphor, or is that
one thing after another, man?
What are you coming back to sort of like putting videos out? Because it's like I'm all alone out here. I need some company. I'm dying of thirst.
He's getting all the subs is what's happening.
Yeah.
To see that tumbleweed off in the distance.
I think we're all just kind of waiting.
Yeah, I plan on getting back in there, but I'm waiting for the patches to get done. I'm waiting for
I've got a map ready to go.
Yeah,
I've got a map ready to go, and it's just we got to do it. We got to wait.
I'm hoping that this the Vietnam stuff's pretty cool, and we get more vehicles, AI, and
I hope we fucking
get back in there.
Man. I hope we get like some like crocodiles and like a leopard and stuff. That'd be amazing.
How about a green ammo bot that we can use?
Green
small ammo bots.
Mike would be in heaven,
would be
dude.
so happy.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you got my
some colonial fences up in that.
Yes.
Colonial fences.
I know Cap, you've got a couple of maps that you're working on yourself.
I have like 4, man. I've been working on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like one is really close to being finished. I think I'm gonna release it Tuesday. Yeah, this next Tuesday I'm gonna release it.
Yeah, that should be nice because you've had some good feedback of that so far. Do you know what I mean? So that's been you've had some. I think you were putting in the spawn points.
Yeah, dude, everyone really likes it so far.
Yeah, you've had some playtesting, so that's real good.
Yeah. What about you, Death Weapon? Because I know you've been working on something special.
Yeah, I've got one that I'm going to be releasing called Born of Fire, and it's basically you're running around inside of a cavern system with a big elder dragon in the middle of it with a bunch of like hatchlings hatching out everywhere and volcanic ash.
I've seen it. It looks
everything.
It looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of in limbo at the moment, waiting to see what's going to happen.
See, the thing is, I don't want to give away anything on the podcast, so that's the reason why I'm not saying anything like too
it's all good. So, it's all good. I mean, it's going to get out there. It's just a matter of time waiting for the right time.
The level of detail in that map is just absolutely phenomenal. So I can't wait till that comes out. And I
appreciate it.
I think it'll definitely be featured when that comes out.
I almost don't want it to be featured, to be honest.
Well, as long as somebody doesn't steal it, that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to happen. If they steal it, they steal it. You know, it's
is that
at least I get it out there.
Yeah, has that even been fixed yet, or is it still being worked on? Because I've not heard
think it's
anything.
been fixed.
I can just take a wild stab in the dark and guess.
That's not fixed. They also still haven't fixed the selection tool in the editor. Like when you make like a custom object or something like that, like a vehicle, and you try to grab the whole thing, won't let you.
Yeah, I know.
Thing. Still,
I don't think they'll fix that.
Same with the camera auto scroll, man. Like that.
What I
that's
think,
still messed up
one
as well.
thing I think they did correct, I believe, you can actually delete your map now.
You
Oh,
can.
yeah, you can.
I had to
Yes,
delete
yeah,
one of my
yeah.
maps completely.
Oh, it'll delete it right away.
It still
Wow.
says, it still says, yeah, it says
Yeah,
request
yeah.
to delete map, but it deletes it right
It
away.
deletes.
How-
the map straight.
How do
need
they
to change-
how do they come up with this stuff?
They must have asked
still haven't changed the
NASA
UI, though.
engineers.
Yeah, man. Like who would have thought that? Like that. Where did that idea come from? It was brilliant. Brilliant.
They
Yeah,
got
like
something
that's
to work.
Far Cry before.
I think somebody snuck in there. They were doing it all Mission Impossible style, like come hovering over the button, and they were like, "Okay,
Right.
All right, okay.
all right, you can now delete maps. I'm out of here, guys."
Steve,
I mean, where did they get the technology from to do that? That's what I want.
Steve
Red
Botter puts in the chat, instead, what has been fixed is the original creator name will keep with maps even when changing the game mode.
Wow, another breakthrough.
So
Wait, so they did fix it?
Steve,
So wait.
it
why not
has
keep
been
the original creator always?
Yeah.
You know, hey, here's a Ubisoft map brought to you by Captain Hindsight. You know, it's
actually-
cross-platform. Captain Hindsight originally created this, and now it is published by Ubisoft. Why can't we have that? Or when somebody steals your map, remember Far Cry 2, it's like, oh, I know what's going on. Because there's their original creator right there. And then if they stole your map, it's still published by, but it'll still have original creator in the text.
It like changed though.
That's
It's
not
like
hard.
it says first
You're asking-
creator and then original creator. But what they can do is they'll like save.
does it
they'll
say-
save the
does it-
map as, change the name.
It
or the
doesn't say
game mode, and
original
then
creator,
it
though, does it?
replaces-
It doesn't say original creator. It just says.
It doesn't? I thought it's.
No, I'm talking about Far Cry 2.
Oh, Far Cry 2.
was-
All right,
yeah,
okay,
Far Cry
okay.
2, it was original
Yeah,
creator.
it
I thought we were
just
talking
said-
about
yeah,
5.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then it's published by. So what it'll do is like, you know, if you publish your
yeah.
map, it's originally created by Death Weapon, published by Death Weapon. Somebody steals it, we'll just go ahead and call out Hindsight on this one. It'll say original creator, Death Weapon, and published by Captain Hindsight, you know?
Right.
Well, the whole
So-
thing is, if you change the game mode, it used to just erase that, and you're the original creator now. But they're saying, Steve Botter's saying they fixed that finally.
Apparently.
No, they did fix it.
Yeah.
Right, but well, is it fixed? Because
Well-
if somebody steals your map,
Well,
it's
the
still going to say original creator.
The problem was as well too was like the fact that they could actually change the game mode and your original creator tag would come off it once they changed
Right.
the game
Yeah.
mode. So I don't even know whether they've patched that neither. And this is the thing, we don't know whether they've patched that or whether they fixed it or nothing because nobody's.
Or maybe they accidentally did it. I mean, that's an option too, because it seems like our lobby system before was accidental, and what they meant to do was just take our votes away.
Well, there's another problem with the spawn system because you had the shared spawns and the blue and red spawns.
Oh, yeah,
well,
the multi-spawn.
Yeah,
Spawns
pretend
don't
blue
work.
and red spawns don't exist. That,
Yeah, the multi spawns
They don't
do not
exist.
work.
yeah,
They're
the multi spawns, like when you first start your match, it's only supposed to use the red and blue. That's what we were told,
Right.
but that's not true. They use the
No.
multi spawns too, so that's broke also.
So,
well, it's because they did not put priority into the script. They didn't put
Yeah.
priority for red and blue spawns, and then put proximity spawns.
So you may as well
That's
just use the
problem.
red blue.
Exactly.
multi-
That's what I've been doing. I don't even. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's been tested.
Haven't they also got a 7-second invincibility when you?
Oh
spawn in?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's ridiculous, dude.
You can run 4 grids completely to the other side of somebody's spawn and still have a spawn shield on.
Jesus
Oh, they got it. They got it too high now.
So they've got to reduce that. Then that 7 seconds is quite significant.
Well, see, we already had. I think it was 3 second spawn delay that we had originally. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure it was 3 seconds.
I think it was 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So 7 seconds is pretty significant.
Yeah, that's too long.
Fix your spawns, not the spawn time.
Fix it all.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I can work with all that. You know, the lobby system is the elephant in the room. You know,
Right.
That's the real problem. Editors, if you're a good enough editor, you can work around, you know, spawn times. You can work around, you know, I can't auto scroll this. You know, you teach yourself, the editor, the way that it's made versus the way they want you to work it.
Yeah.
Well, I wish they would sort out that auto scroll because it's annoying. It really is annoying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is annoying.
So I think the things that I feel said that you should concentrate on, just fix that auto scroll for starters. Do you know what I mean? That would solve a lot of people's problems as far as the editor's concerned. And then the multiplayer, we need more than just 2 modes or 3 modes. Do you know what I mean? We need another game mode.
Yeah, we need domination or capture the flag or something.
Something that people can work towards as a team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Here's the hope. Maybe we'll get some kind of game mode per DLC.
I hope so.
That'd be amazing.
That's the hope I have.
Yeah.
Johnny's like looking at me like,
He's like, you're crazy, man.
He's coming back. Johnny's coming back now.
I don't know.
I think his son wants to join in the conversation. Cap, I think your son wants to join in the conversation.
It's little Cap.
I'm waiting for the lightsaber to come out of nowhere.
Dude, he did get the lightsaber, dude. He was coming in here with it. I was like, no, we're not doing that.
He's gonna beam you right in the head with it. Watch.
Yeah. Get my shirt that says Ubisoft and just let him go on you.
That's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just get a Ubisoft shirt and just let him.
Yeah, let him beat you with it.
Yeah.
Or better, yeah, I'll give him the Ubisoft shirt. Get him like a little Ubisoft shirt, and he'll be Ubisoft, and I'll be the community, basically.
Yeah, and he'll be.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
So yes, Steve Potter just put in the chat. Yeah, the original creator is fixed. Actually mentioned it, and the update. I think it was 5 update notes instead of 6. So it wasn't in 6. It was in the last update before 6. Before we received 6. So yeah, it was in the patch notes. To be honest, I was kind of lazy and I didn't read those patch notes on 5. No, as a matter of fact, we did, didn't we? We read them through. We went through them in the last podcast. Johnny, I think you read through them, didn't you, on the last podcast? Some of the.
I don't know.
Yeah,
so much has happened between now and then.
But the thing is even if that is fixed on like somebody stealing your map, you know, a lot of people don't pay attention to it because let's face it, when the map comes up, it shows nothing on who the original creator is anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter. Yeah,
you have to hit Y on the map to see whose map you're playing. You know, who made the map. You know, go into it. There's it's so convoluted. Instead of just putting up there, hey, this map is made by.
So there's
here's the map name.
There's one thing that I have just as an artist. I mean, I'm an artist by trade. That's what I do for a living. And I noticed this is just kind of like an example, but like when I'm on Instagram and I'm just looking at other people's art and stuff like that, and I'll see these pages that come up that are just sharing other people's work and not tagging or crediting them in any way.
Right, not citing anything.
There's and it's like, yeah, of course, you know, this person didn't create Photoshop, right? But they're using it to create art with it. And that's their work. They should be credited for that. That's how that's how it is in the art world. That's just the respectful thing to do. And for a lot of us, these maps they're artwork. It's a form of art. And to be able to put all this time into it and do all this and not be credited for the work, to me it's the same thing. Obviously you're not getting paid for it, you're not making money on it, but it's still your creative outlet. And to not have that attribution to the original creator, I think it's just kind of it's kind of a shame.
It's a smack in the face. It's a smack in the face. Like that's what I was talking about. Why I don't really want to be featured is because when they take the map and say, you go on there, Johnny, to play on PC. My map comes up. You'll never know it's my map. First of all, because it doesn't bring up my.
It's going to say by Ubisoft.
Yeah, Ubisoft.
Like sorry, Ubisoft, you didn't fucking make the map. You made the outlet.
That actually happened to Long Rider. Long Rider was playing with a group of his friends, and they didn't believe that he made the map. They said it says Ubisoft. And he says, yeah, but I created it, for the game.
I didn't know.
They're like, but it's by Ubisoft.
Yeah, it's like it's on the strength of the community who knows the people who made it to say, hey, that Ubisoft didn't make that. This guy made it because I've seen him posting progress updates and building it. Yeah. And it's like that's the only way for us to know is to know the people that made it. Otherwise, it's like who knows who made it.
Crazy that never happened in Far Cry 4. Do you know what I mean? When we got on the featured list, everybody knew who we was because it said that we were the original creators on there. But still, it was still hidden because you had to press is it Y or something like that to get into the filter and figure out what was what. And it's kind of the same now, but I never knew that if you had your map featured, that it would have just the Ubisoft tag.
It does.
I'm not trying to.
It doesn't on the platform, but it does on other platforms. When they port it over, that's what it says.
That's what Ubisoft said. They wrote that they can't put it on, let's say, they can't put Long Rider on Far Cry 4. I mean, on PlayStation 4 if he's not registered or has an account on. That's their excuse. That's their excuse. Yeah, I know.
Right.
You're right.
Okay, that's interesting. So they're talking about. So you're talking about when you're featuring something not for that specific console, but for another console or for the PC featured type of thing.
Yeah. That's what their excuse.
I thought when a map was featured, it was only featured for that specific console.
No, it's cross-platform.
It's a cross-platform.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay.
They're saying if it's good, if it's a really good map, they're still featuring maps for Pacific consoles, but if it's a really good map, they're going to put it across all platforms.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope I don't get featured, neither on that level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it goes across platforms, because if people don't know who made the map, and it's down to Ubisoft, that means Ubisoft is actually taking the credit.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know if they
that's what it is.
that.
Why create maps when you can have people create them for you for free?
I mean, if you really want to get ultimate credit for your map, you have to literally go through and use those lettering assets.
Yeah.
And write your name on there and just like this map was created by and just have and use all these assets.
And that's what I did with my map Bodocalypse 2 and what Mike G does. And it's sad that we have to do that, but that's signing your name. If you do a painting, you have to sign your name.
Yeah. I used to have to do that. I mean, I was doing that type of stuff on Far Cry 2 maps where I would take like a corner of the map that was background and I would literally paint in the terrain.
It out,
Yeah. I used to do that on my phone.
Now we have the generic shaped letters, though. We can actually like write out our names and stuff. And it actually looks really good on screenshots if you like put the name of the map and then put like by the creator.
That's all of it
in the screenshot. It looks really nice.
Well, one of the things that Lazy Mapper and myself do with our channels, and I think this is really important, especially for people who are watching, when we edit our videos, we always make sure that the person who created the map, we always make sure that the audience knows who's created that map. It's very important. So whenever I go into a map, I always write down the name of the map and the person who it's by. So when the video starts, there's like a lower third on my videos. There's a lower third. And it'll say the name of the map, and it'll say created by, and even further down the map, like halfway through the video, it'll also come up with with the title and the person who's created that particular map. I always make sure that that's the case no matter what. And Lazy Mapper is exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? He always makes sure, that the person is actually credited for the work that they do. It's
so what I've seen happen, what I have seen happen with some other channels, not obviously not you guys, but there are some other channels out there doing these like map features and stuff like that. They just download the map and play it, and they don't actually dig into who was the original creator. And I've seen copies of maps being featured in these videos, and it's like, oh, this one's made by Pancake Pants 247, and it's like, no, that's not the guy who made it, and now he's getting the credit in this video.
Well, the bad thing, if you look at some of the larger channels as well, a lot of times what they'll do is if the name isn't very catchy of the map, they'll kind of tailor it to what they would call it. To like get an audience,
like Tomb Raider, and it's not even Tomb Raider,
right?
Well,
but they do still give credit of who made the map. It is still there on who made the map, but they might change the name of the map, like, hey, here's BattleBots, or hey, here's I don't know, Friday Night Fun.
I've noticed as well too, some of the larger channels are not putting out the videos that they were putting out before. They've kind of dropped off.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is they have to go with what's marketable, and this Far Cry is no longer marketable. It's not even valid at this point currently.
I said that. I said that right from the beginning. I said that all of these larger channels are just going to jump on this thing, because it's the latest fad. And I said once it dies down, they'll be off somewhere else finding something else. Do you know what I mean?
At this point, it's one of those things we can give the community back, but we can't give the community back until things are fixed, obviously. But if things are fixed, I feel like we will recoup some of the community that we did have, and I think it'll start steamrolling. I really do, because
if they get things back on track, and I have the time and the energy, I'll come back and I'll finish my damn map and get in there and have fun like we were supposed to be doing already. But time will tell.
Well, I'm hoping that Fallen Champ comes back as well too, because he's kind of
he'll come back.
He's had enough.
But he's
been a little bit more active in the
Facebook,
in the Facebook group.
Yeah. Right, but you gotta understand what Champ said. It wasn't the fact that he's trying to leave the community fully. He just doesn't want the responsibility of lead anymore. He doesn't.
Yeah.
He wants to be a player. He doesn't want to be, a key person in the development of anything.
Well, what I wanted to mention was really and truthfully, I'm talking about people who are seasoned and now, just like yourself, Johnny. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, do you know what? I can't be bothered now. Because of all of the issues, and I understand that. I mean, like, I've had to fall back. Yeah, I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. So I've been playing those two games. Just because, like I said, there's so many issues and so many problems. And again,
I went back to 7 Days to Die. At least they're consistent. At least they're consistent with what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the issues in there was I mentioned this last time where the glass windows, apparently they were supposed to have fixed them, but that hasn't been fixed. Where you shoot the glass windows, and I think they end up being purple or something like that, or they have like an invisible frame around them,
like violet color. I seen the frame.
Well, that violet color basically means that there's texture information missing. So I think what they need to do is they need to put a null texture in there, and they haven't. They have no texture in that space. So when the window's broken, it's not actually like missing. The polygons are still there, but it's reading no texture because for whatever reason, it's not linking that to like an invisible kind of transparency. It's just nothing. So you get that pink, kind of like we used to get the glitches with like the pink grass and stuff. That's just because the texture information is not coming through.
Right.
So supposedly they fixed that in the last update. I haven't looked at it.
It's not being fixed. It's not being fixed.
I haven't.
I mean, the glass
thing
needs
is,
to be.
I don't think you've updated either. Your map itself. No, I'm saying like when it's being published,
your map.
using when you're publishing, you're uploading it to the server, and it's going to take all the fixes and implement it. If you haven't ever published in, you're not taking in the true fixes. See what I'm saying? Like it's not linking to their server.
Well, that doesn't make sense. We should be able to see
don't
the
those
fixes in
fixes
the
apply
editor,
like
you know
as
what I
soon
mean?
as they update it in the
That's
whole game
silly.
editor?
So
You know,
I remember in Far Cry 2, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the beginning stages of it, they had these physics objects in the editor, and you could literally build a wall out of cinder blocks and blow it apart in the game, and like all these cinder blocks would go flying. And I had some really cool like entry points where you could literally shoot it with like a grenade launcher, and it would just blast the wall apart. And they updated it, and I didn't know this at the time. And then I updated my map after the update, and then the bricks just didn't move anymore. But if I had let it be, the bricks would still move, and the physics were still there for whatever reason. But since I updated the map, it replaced those physics bricks with the ones that they updated. So it was like the information was still there, as long as I didn't update my map. So it's the same. I think it's the same kind of thing.
In 3, you could go in and delete the update. You could like go offline and edit things, and you would have like an insurmountable budget. Like you could
some people were getting
then
around
go back
Far Cry 3.
Yeah,
you would have 3 times the budget.
Yeah, the glitch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was glitches that you can like.
You can't delete the updates now, can you, on the Xbox One?
I'm not sure.
I tried looking.
I'm sure there's some way to do it, but
find it.
that's beyond me. You know, you could go and clear your cache. I know you could do that, and then you would have to be forcibly updating again. But I don't know what that would
try to
fix.
find that, man. See if you can delete it.
See, that's the
Get
thing.
a bunch of
you know what I
lights
mean?
back and publish your map.
See, the thing is, like, while I'm editing, I'm not seeing any of those fixes. I'm not so that I would have to literally publish that just to see those fixes. But you know, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
You know, I think, and not to nitpick, but I think they need to fix the glass anyway, because that like blue jello looking surface that they have on it, it's not great anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just need to just redo the glass and make it look like.
The other problem is when you broke the glass, there would be pieces hanging there from the corners.
Yeah, like part of the frame
out.
like polygons almost, like squares. Yeah.
So
good times.
So yeah, you know, we've had a good discussion. We went all out. It was pure war today on podcast number 9.
I think we were being nice, Kemet.
Yeah, we could have really.
It could have been worse.
We could have went hard on them, but
I don't want you to swat us.
Yeah,
Right.
Swat us.
Are we trying to set an example?
Right. I don't know at this point. Who's setting what example at this point?
Well, I think we're setting more of an example than Ubisoft, as far as I'm concerned. But regardless of that, this podcast has gone on for quite a while. Apart from the sound issues that I had at the beginning, again for the second time.
Hopefully we know for next time, right? Check out. Yeah.
I did all the sound check and everything. It was fine. It was just, like I said, it was Microsoft with their updates, messing with the sound drivers again, as usual. So it's been an interesting podcast this month. Again, everyone, we always have for people who don't know, we always have a podcast at least once a month. There's nowhere that we're doing 2 podcasts. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to those podcasts. It's actually incredible. To say that we, sometimes we go on for like an hour and a half to 2 hours and people actually listen to these podcasts. So I'd like to thank everybody who's joined the chat, everyone who's listening and supporting us and supporting the community. It's been an absolute blast. So we're going to end this podcast and wait for the next one, which will be next month. And hopefully we can bring the community
better news.
It's gotta be more positive.
Better.
Yeah,
you'll see
hopefully there's better news, but I won't hold them to it.
Yeah, if Ubisoft are listening, please, man, seriously, we would like to talk about something positive. We're sick and tired of the negative stuff.
Maybe next time they can hop on the podcast with us, huh?
That'd be nice.
It would be nice, but that's not going to happen. It's not.
I mean, if they really want to extend an olive branch
It would
That's,
be nice. It would be nice.
That would be really nice.
It really would be nice. So
There
yeah,
could be another Kyle.
shout out. So Punish 69 wants a shout out. Shout out to Punish 69.
Lazy Map at.
Yeah.
There you go.
Remo 99.
All you guys, Steve,
My dog
Ballard,
rescue.
Mike G Live.
Shout out to Mike G, a legend, a living legend.
Yep, that's correct. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Shout out to everyone. And I would like to give a shout out to Lost Soldier, because he is constantly messaging me about any new updates and so forth. You know what I mean? He's keeping me posted. Anyone else?
Is this a Dafk? This guy in the chat, Dafk 1305.
There you go.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here.
Right.
We appreciate all you lovely people.
All you lovely people.
I appreciate y'all real hard.
I appreciate the hell out of you.
Ooh, as well too. Caffeinated. Caffeinated. Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to him. He messaged me on YouTube, and he was talking about actually tagging the link from the games into the YouTube videos, I think. So you know when you go to the website, is it? No, it's the
arcade.
Yeah, the arcade.
Yeah,
website.
the arcade. Yes.
Yeah, you can actually grab a link, can't you? And so that would be nice to do. You know, if they've got their map on the map that's on the arcade, you can actually grab a link. I might be able to put that in the description. You know,
that's a good idea.
Yeah. Caffeinated. He gave me the heads up on that. So a huge shout out to him. Credit where credit's due. At the end of the day, so we're just going to close this down as usual. I'm Kemet 1976. You can catch me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Check out the YouTube videos, tribute videos. You know, there's some playlists and so forth. Everyone else, do you want to close it out?
Yeah, the only thing I got to say is I'm the lazy mapper. I should start making some more videos again. And also, you can see me on Xbox as I'm going to get you sucker as my gamer tag. Now, tonight, I might try and host some maps for people to play. We've been using the password as 420 or 123. If anybody wants to jump in, if you're on the Xbox, I want to try and get some matches tonight to play some people's maps.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I guess Captain Hindsight or Johnny2 Fingerz. What do you guys say?
Somebody want to mention about Steve's what do you call it? Website with the assets.
Oh yeah, the asset search.
Asset search. That's great. I don't know. Maybe Steve, you want to put a link on there on the chat?
We're gonna be closing that. It will be.
You should drop a link in the description or something, man. That's something worthwhile. That's gonna help.
Oh, it's a lifesaver.
Just drop a link in the chat.
Yeah. So what I'll do is at the end of the podcast, because usually when we record the podcast, I put it on. Yeah, I put it on YouTube. So what I will do is I will stick a link in the description on the YouTube channel. When that comes out tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest, this podcast. So for anyone who hasn't heard it, you can see a link in the description. So yeah, that's good. So yeah.
I'm Johnny2 Fingerz. I was very active on YouTube, and I will be again at some point. But I'm really starting to shift my channel over to Twitch more. I'm going to be doing a lot more streams and putting videos there. YouTube just seems like it's slowly strangling itself. Kind of like the Ouroboros snake that's eating itself. So yeah, I mean, it's Johnny2 Fingerz with a Z. I'm on Twitch. You can follow me on Twitter and still on YouTube. I will still do stuff there from time to time, but and I'm on Facebook. I've been inactive lately, but I will be returning to all that within the next coming weeks as things settle down a little bit for me over here.
Sweet. Death Weapon.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fucking high. So Yeah, catch me up on Xbox. You know, I'd love to talk to the community about, you know, maps, or if you have any, you know, issues with the editor. I don't ever mind helping people out and checking out somebody's maps. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't do YouTube. I got one video up. So
So go check out his one video, guys.
yeah.
Drop a like.
I like to keep it simple.
Cap, you want to close it? You want to close it?
Yep. Captain Hindsight. You can find me on Xbox, Facebook. I'm under Kylan Diefex Jewett on Facebook. I'm in all the groups. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube as Diefex, Diefex. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, guys, it's been an absolute blast. Again, thank you very much for watching and being active in the chat. It's been absolutely crazy tonight. And hopefully you'll see us on podcast 10 next month, guys. Take it easy.
All right. Thank you.
Very, very.